real quick sprints. Take the disc briskly, sunshine glints off my frisbee crisply. Knows how it goes with the sand between our toes. We got both of the pivots and all of the throws. Got to hold the disc and move it at the right time. When you flick your wrist and you're feeling sublime, compose your throws, not discuss fluttery. Tricks from the brick and your biscuits buttery. Feel the spirit, stretch every sinew, stream encourage, yeah, we continue. Take my hand, yeah, come with me. From the disc to the sand, to the beach, to the sea. There's magic in the air. All you have to do is catch it. EBUCC 2022.
Welcome back, everyone, to the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships women's final in the books, and we move on to the mixed division. It's Jogo Bonito of Berlin against Guayota of Tenerife here for the gold medal in the mixed division here at the party in Portima, the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships. Benji Rees here with you in the booth, joined by the one and only Hannah Pendlebury.
And it's a delight to be here, Benji. The Iberian Inferno continues to blaze here on the golden sands of Portimao. Jogo Bonito with a rather shorter squad than Guayota, who've looked the business the entire length of this tournament. We've had them on the live stream twice so far, and they are dynamic. That high intensity, high octane style that they love so much has seen them cruise through as much as their opponents, neither having taken a loss so far this championship.
Two undefeated sides battling it out in the mixed final. Would you have it any other way?
Absolutely not.
Jogo Bonito beginning on offense. Gerner on the far sideline. Looking for an option into the centre. Tried to swing it in there to Kay. Knocked away by Guayota, looking to break on the first point. Sanchez going to the end zone, having got the block, and now catches it under pressure from Kay, but they're not in the end zone just yet. That'll do it though. Cristina Gonzalez with the score. Guayota breaking on the game's first point to take a 1-0 lead.
Well, I said they were high octane, high intensity, and they came here to win. Will it be? I don't know. I mean, that's just 1 point, right? But my goodness, I tell you what, someone who is hungry for this game has got to be Alberto Sanchez de Rio.
Just there, you see it nipping in front of the block. The bid from Kay doesn't get there, and Sanchez sees his moment to take off to the end zone. It's not put deep to him, so he makes this catch again under that battle with Kay. That's going to be one to watch as we continue, but dusts himself down into the end zone right on the spot to Cristina Gonzalez. 1-0 to Guayota. The brown shirts of the Canary Islands taking an early lead in this game. You mentioned both sides unbeaten so far, and neither of them necessarily pushed too much either.
Indeed. Well, you know that Jogo Bonito had the one fewer game, having come out of the pool of 5 rather than the pool of 6. But I have to say, to be honest, that 10-4 win over Barcelona Sharks for Guayota, knocking their fellow country folks out of the championship, looked a little bit like it was, you know, just an easy one. So all sort of fair and level. But of course, Jogo Bonito, much fewer personnel.
Yeah, only carrying 11 players, while Guayota at the maximum of 16. So with the pool having pinned them in at the back of their own end zone, Bussoff finds Chesky. I thought she was going to wind up the arm, but instead Gerner plants to come underneath. Now powering his way up line, not going to get it instead. That high release into the centre. Gaffney finds Bussoff. Sees his reset, goes back there to Gaffney. New Yorker originally, but now in Berlin, plays his outdoor ultimate with Wall City, blade down the far sideline to Gerner. Gerner off to Chesky, dumping that through. Backhand fake from Greenwald, goes back to Chesky. Looking at options. Can he find Gaffney? Gaffney wants it over the top. It is going over the top, but through to Greenwald, who pinches that before Gerner, I'm sure, would have got there. Jogo Bonito don't really mind. There is some ironic booing on the sideline. What a piece. Are they saying boo or boo-nito?
Well, I'm sure the fans have a bit of a bias after the women's gold medal match. I'm pretty sure it's largely filled out by Spanish fans based on the chance that we got for defense whenever the Swedes had the frisbee. And I think it's probably a similar story here, geeing up Guayota, who are not quite on home sand, but not too far away. Of course, though, being from the Canary Islands, it is actually a bit of a distance.
It's still, yeah. they're neighbouring countries, sort of, just kind of not quite how you'd expect, of course, in the case of the Canary Islands. One apiece, of course, with Guayota having broken on the first point of the game. Interestingly, neither of these sides, obviously, they've got some standout players, but they kind of distribute the load fairly evenly. If you look at the top statistical scorers, assisters for the division, you're not likely to find names from either side because they spread it up and down the roster. First O point here for Guayota. Nice one underneath, slashing across the field, Oscar Gonzalez. Nice gainer there, Maria Ortiz. On that far sideline, trying to set the chap up there. Here's the blade over the top. This is going to ask an awful lot of the receiver, and too much, nothing that Alvaro Monterrey could do. A chance for Jogo to break back and get us back on serve.
Yeah, an adventurous shot, if ever there was, and asking a lot of Monteverde, who, to be fair, was a pretty useful target during the semi-final.
Yeah, that wire-to-wire victory against B-Fire 11-8, in which they never trailed.
Indeed, but they nearly had a comeback at the very end.
Herkins goes across. Kay, wearing that visor. Looking for options, sees one he likes deep, wants to stretch the field, and he's got the target as well, despite the Vic. Venjajevic gets there. Thought about sneaking the little inside through, instead dumps back to Kay. Kay to Herkins. The red headband goes around. Continuing here to Kay. Can he find the force in? There's a little jam there, but he doesn't like it, probably wisely so. That was tight pressure. Instead, oh, the cheeky quick release with the backhand. Punches it in, and it's all business as Paul Herkins makes it 2-1, and we're back on serve.
Yeah, you can see how much pressure the Guayotan defense put onto Jogo Bonito's backs after that big ripper. Two defenders trailing under Venjajevic. We saw Flora Scarlett really going to work earlier on in the live stream games for this championship. But it's Gavic that's asked to run down under hot pressure. And then after having closed the door on so many opportunities, at long last, just that turnaround.
Well, it'll be interesting to keep an eye on Gavic because former club experience with Guayota. So maybe you wonder if this means a little bit more to her than it might do to some others.
Or maybe it's more difficult to ascend against your former teammates. Feels almost wrong sometimes.
Yeah, if she does score, it'll be interesting to see how strongly she celebrates. The ball is caught there by the talismanic Gabaldoni. He finds Carretero, such a reliable option going deep, or in this case, underneath. Trying to find options with a rising stall count, flicks it out of the arm. Oh, it's tipped on! And I thought maybe there was the opportunity for Diaz to get the layout cleaning up at the back, but a miscommunication will give the disc to Jogo Bonito.
We'd said that they'd come out to do business at Guayota, but that is not at all what the doctor ordered. Just a straight up throwaway. Yeah,
a difficult catch for Gonzalez to make. She would have been better off leaving it for her teammate Diaz, but obviously didn't get the call, and a hand block gives it back to Guayota. Sergio Diaz making amends.
Yep, I retract my previous statement.
Sometimes it's amusing how quickly your words come back to bite you.
Maybe it was fate that I was originally pressing my mute button. I don't know why.
So the first pass gets it off the line into Diaz. Moving the mark around. Patricio Gonzalez shoots it into her sister Carolina. That'll be 2 apiece.
Yeah. Way to respond after that earlier overshot. Lefty fake to get the breakaway, and Jogo Bonito can do nothing but throw themselves around the pitch and get a face full of sand.
2 each, both sides having opportunities. Looking very evenly matched early in this contest. Well, 2 apiece, games to 13 here.
And 45 minutes long, and we'd hope to see a close one though. We've had a couple of blowouts here on the live streams, and no one really likes to see it that much.
Look, I'm not saying much. All I'm saying is that all 3 finals at the last EBUCC 4 years ago went to Universe Point, and so did the first one here. So, you know, just no pressure.
The challenge has been set. It's been thrown out.
Gauntlet's well and truly on the sand. Gaffney catches the ball and finds Greenwald with the first pass. A little bit cluttered downfield. Reset goes to Gaffney, back in Kay's hands. Down the sideline, laying out, but it sneaks through the grasp of Jevic.
Yeah, huge effort, but it's always difficult to execute those clap-catch layouts on sand.
Expansive break across the pitch. Samuel Marrero. Back here, Thaisa Ramos. Option open underneath. Alberto Sanchez, 1 assist already. This will be his second. Guayota break again. It's a game of breaks so far. That one to the end zone finds Carmen Toscano. Guayota back in top now, 3-2. Seems like a topsy-turvy contest early on here, Hannah.
Oh, absolutely. It's a game of runs of energy. And right now, Guayota have this game by the scruff of the neck, and they're sort of giving it a good shakedown. But Jogo Bonito are being finally pushed hard. We did see them earlier on in the tournament have a difficult pool play game where they only advanced 12-11 over Jolly Rogers in Universe even. Whereas a surprising Universe point finish for Guayota against Fate, who haven't looked the best at this tournament.
No, both of those sides, like you'd expect Guayota and Jogo Bonito to come through those tests, but they were pushed there, and you wonder if this game gets right down to the margins at the end, whether that experience will help them. Oscar Gonzalez, by the way, is herring down after this pull that is fielded at the back of the end zone by Gaffney for Jogo Bonito. And he looks frustrated that he's not really seeing a bit more movement. Von Stept is the first option. Resetting it off to Greenwald. Gaffney. Nice little shake and bake there from Von Stept.
I really enjoy the way she moves across sand. And not one of the people you'd usually expect to be dynamic on it.
Basov is bored of working underneath. He charges off deep, but the throw is off target. Basov never really got up to full speed there, and the disc back in Guayota hands.
Yeah, huge pressure as all of Jogo Bonito just seem to hover around the disc. Not really giving any of those options in those shorter field, but it is a real grinder running on this surface. If you're not familiar with Beach Ultimate, it does really sap the energy out of you.
Alejandro Treviso is going to pick up here for Guayota. Can they extend their advantage? Doesn't like the underneath shot of Gonzalez. Players charging off deep. Gabaldoni is the intended receiver. Reads it well. Basov can't get there with the bead, and it's a simple flip into the end zone, and the flip in celebration as well. Another Guayota break will make this 4-2, and I think that is Maria Ortiz on the reception for the score.
I believe so, Benji. And what a way to come back out and respond after Jogo Bonito snagged that break back 3 on the bounce for the Tenerife club. And they've got to be delighted. They were double champions in the Spanish Beach Championships. They took both the women's gold and the mixed gold. Of course, the women's team deciding to just put their best players out here at this club championships for Europeans. Of course, which is why we've had the delight of enjoying Caselletas and Cremas here in the women's division. But Guayota are putting up a challenge to Jogo Bonito.
How will the Germans respond? Gaffney catching the pull, goes to Kay. Kay looking for the underneath, pins it onto Paul Herkens. Herkens, a little bit low, not a problem though for Gaffney. Continuing down the far sideline. Faking the break into the centre, utilising the high release instead. Now trying to flow towards the break side. A little bit of blade on that one. Brilliantly done, utilising the width of the field well. And they find Paul Herkens to stop the bleeding, 3-4.
Yeah, nice, just chilled out section of offense for Jogo Bonito. There was a big pin on the far sideline. I really enjoyed the defensive work from Carolina Gonzalez. It looked a little bit like she was trying to bait a bit of a run through D on the underneath pass, but Fantastic defence overcome by the fetching. Well, is it a yacht crew? Is it a holiday park type affair on these outfits from Jogo Bonito? Of course, they have an excellent social media presence, Jogo Bonito Social Club. And they have just wonderful swag that you see at these high-level European beach tournaments.
The one thing I will say is that the white kits are not quite as brilliant white as they were at the start of the week.
Absolutely. You spend a day out here on the Golden Sands in Portimao. If you sit on a white bed cover, as I found out yesterday evening, with still slightly what you think are clean, but are actually quite sandy legs, you can leave some telltale marks for the hotel staff to find later.
Yeah, a little calling card. The pull from Chesky. Gabaldoni goes to his knees to field. Centering first pass and then underneath to Carretero. Never shy of looking long, instead underneath Patricio Gonzalez. Still count rising, trying to find it through. Defense is close, but not close enough. Dorta trying to find underneath. Oh, Gonzalez, I thought she almost let that slip through, but she did keep it up. Carretero breaking around Gabaldoni, continuation into the end zone. The break side flow is so lethal on the beach, and it works once more. 5-3, excuse me, Guayota.
Yeah, intense defense from Jogo Bonito. I would have liked to see Von Stibbert going for sort of that bid on the end. She has a little swipe of the paw on this pass. Actually, it might be the next one. In fact, no, happened earlier in the point, of course, because that was the dynamic break across using the closed side of the pitch very well, did Guayota.
Yeah, and in the end, Dorta's in the end zone to make the reception. You can see their scorekeepers doing live stat tracking, so if you want to have a look through the tournament, find out everything that's been going on, live.ebucc.eu. You can find all the results from all the games there, and as well, links to all the live streams, which we've also put in a handy YouTube playlist for you, and you can watch all the games that we've streamed this weekend, live and for free on our YouTube channel.
And on demand as well, you
that
lucky things. And if you want to help us out, at least consider clicking like and subscribe.
Basov looking at Blade down the line with that backhand. Gaffney. Von Stibbert dishing it off to Gaffney again. Gurner's in the backfield. Ever reliable. Swings. Gaffney. Basov. Surely going to offload this. Thought about going back into the end zone instead. Just going to plinko it around. Shuttling it back and forth. Trying to work those Guayota defenders. Looking for an aggressive option. Not seeing it. So just going back to Basov. This is very patient. And then cool as you like. Crisp into the end zone. 4-5.
Yeah, just playing a little bit of give, go, catch for that final pass. Lovely patience from Jogo Bonito, and that's what they need to do. Again, we see the female matching defenders from Guayota doing a fantastic job in the downfield. B-Fire really struggled with their offense against Guayota because they had the ability to shut down the top 1 or 2 receivers on offense, and it's a fantastic job they're doing again, sort of just closing the correct windows, and it's largely at the moment the male matchup players that are going to work.
Yeah, cheeky little push pass into the end zone as well. I think you have to describe push passes as cheeky generally. It's just the accepted nomenclature for them.
My older brother, who is long retired from playing competitive Ultimate, did a bit of the old, he had a weird phrase called kamikaze push pass. That's what he used to say every time he threw one. And it always used to confuse me because I'm just too used to watching elite level players throw really nice ones.
Yeah, that word, I do not think it means what you think it means.
Well, I think, to be honest, probably more of a sign of the quality of, or lack thereof, of his push passes.
Offside called on Jogo Bonito from the pull.
And indeed, it's now an immediate break because of the change to the rules, as we're joined up on our commentary berth by a sneaky little player from around the field who's normally on our side of the microphone, Benji.
Yeah, Liam Grant has made his way up to the booth, playing for a team with a terrible name.
Absolutely shocking.
Faking the lefty now, coming in off the brick mark, Sergio Diaz. Again going offhand underneath to Alvaro Monterde. People trying to shuttle through. Patricia Gonzalez looking deep. Oh, Temps Greenwald. And Temps the receiver in as well, but unable to catch up to it was Sergio Diaz. A chance for Jogo Bonito to level us up.
Yep, carrying probably about a 1/100th of the sand that existed on the top section of the end zone. Now all over the face and chest of the adventurous Sergio Diaz. It's one of the things about making bids on sand. It's a very forgiving surface, but if you're sweaty and working hard out there, you will acquire quite the granules.
I'll take your word for it. Underneath Phil Kay. Kay guns it. Greenwald is really motoring across, and he can't quite get there. Valiant attempt, but chance goes begging for Jogo.
Yeah, he was probably about a good half a metre behind that disc, but you've got to go for it, especially on the live stream in the gold medal match.
Right? If you're not going to go for it then, when are you going to go for it?
Precisely. But big old tool sets on every player on this field. There's been some big shots, but it's still early days.
Guayota walking to the front of the end zone. Treviso with the swing and getting it back from Diaz. Underneath now Monterde. Monterde wants to rip it. Oh, finds the target. Patricia Gonzalez leaked behind the back of the defense. Sight unseen almost.
Yeah, there must have been a miscommunication. There's nobody that would leave her open.
Now outside the end zone, Guayota reset and punch it in. Treviso to Monterde, 6-4. Cannot afford to let anyone on Guayota get free, but especially not Patricia Gonzalez. She's so lethal.
Absolutely. There was a little moment there where the defenders looked sort of around at each other and was like, hold on, who's got done
I thought you. Oh, I see.
And Patricia Gonzalez, of course, having played for Yaka at the World Club Championships in Cincinnati, but prefers beach. She's from Tenerife and currently living there at the moment, psychologist, and she has a bit of experience for, you know, that small team known as the Spanish mixed beach team that did pretty well at EBUCC back in 2019.
Yeah, the Spaniards more than at home on the sand. Not on home turf this time. It was Casteldefels, the last EBUCC 4 years ago. Of course, now in Portimao, in neighbouring Portugal. So keeping it Iberian. Basov on the far side. Grunwald looking for his options and resetting to Gerner. Trying to scan the field, seeing if she can find someone with a little bit of separation. Grunwald is the option. Wants to lead Gerner into space here. He's got it, and now putting this up there, Basov, can he read it? Defender has position, and Gabaldoni knocks it out the back of the end zone. Not the best shot, that one from Gerner.
Yeah, you can see there's a little chat between her and the mark of Maria Ortiz of just, well, maybe not my best option, but Gerner has had a heckin' season. Plays for Jinx normally.
Yeah, so played well out in Cincinnati. EUCF, of course, was part of the German World Games side that turned so many heads. It's been a long old season.
Absolutely, but it was much of a delight to everybody, that World Games team from Germany, really raising the standard of preparation.
Little underneath there to Gabaldoni. Gabaldoni winds up and uncorks the bomb. Grunwald in defence, and he gets up there and tips it from over the top of Oscar Gonzalez.
I'll tell you what, that was a fantastic defence. Just going over the top, and I think there might have been a tiny bit of a touch of a hand at some point, but look at that, just descends, manages not to fall over as well and clatter the target in front of him.
Knows that he will have to go up early to get the block, and does so superbly.
We love to see it.
Gaffney doesn't like this slashing cut coming diagonally from the far side of the field, instead sneaking it into Anna Gerner. High release backhand, Gaffney. Just feel like offense is a little bit more of a slog for the Germans than it has been for the Spaniards.
Well,
Grunewald.
Yeah, coming in when they need him most.
Again, trying to get a little bit more rhythm to the offense and spacing. That one curls over the top of Von Stebert. She tries to change direction, and that's so difficult in stand. And another turnover. Guayota with another chance to take a 7-4 lead into half. Remember, they'll be receiving on the other side. Nice little inside break there. Continuation. Bang on the money. Oscar Gonzalez to Marta Ortiz. 7-4 halftime lead for Guayota.
Well, and well deserved. We saw on that turnover, Christian Gaffney had just decided that he wanted to throw the disc deep after that huge hero save from Taylor Grunwald. As Von Stub there walks away from the turnover, Gaffney had pointed so far away and then lasered it at her. And this is just easy money. That initial break sets up a beautiful little piece of offense. And that's a way to take half for Guayota. We're going to take a little break ourselves here in the booth. We'll be back after these messages.
Don't go away.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. Ultimate TV.
Welcome back to the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships. Second half of the mixed final about to get underway. Guayota with a 7-4 lead on Jogo Bonito. And the Spaniards will be receiving to begin the second half of this game. Benji Reese in the booth, joined by Hannah Pendlebury.
And this has been a hecking game. It was Guayota the first break, and they are leading the charge right now.
Yeah, Guayota broke on the first point. Jogo held, got their own one back, but since then Guayota have been in the ascendancy. That one comes underneath, nice little dish off there from Carolina Gonzalez. Now here's her sister Patricia. Yaiza Ramos. Ramos with that high release backhand, and it is perfection personified. Finds Alvaro Monterde. Guayota rocking and rolling at 8-4.
Well, we were asking for a close final, and at the moment it's the lack of legs on Jogo Bonito. You could see the efforts there to try and generate turnovers. Paul Herkins snaking through, trying to get the underneath block, but at the moment they're just being bested by the Tenerife side, who are just specialists on this surface. See there again, Herkins getting a face full of sand, which always feels worse when you don't come up with a disc.
Better than a face full of concrete, I guess.
True, but generally speaking, the only place I know where there is a tournament on concrete was the days of old at York Indoors in the UK, where it used to be a tent.
Oh, yeah, I know the sort of hard court you mean.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No. So, Guayota on the golden Portuguese sands here in the Praia de Rocha, Portimao, Portugal. Gaffney to Kay, and Kay finds Kevic. Gurner into the backfield. That one, ooh, a little bit of a test, but one that Kevic is equal to. Now Gaffney coming underneath, fakes the flick. Again, they're just utilising that upline cut again and again. This one, a bit of a long jump effort there, and Kay, does he get it into the end zone? He might have done, but a travel is called on the throw here.
It's interesting. There were a cluster of Guayota players who signalled the goal from the sideline quite quickly after that one was jumped in. And indeed, a long jump effort for sure. Although it remembers to go feet rather than bum first.
Kevic breaking it all the way around to Gurner. Little dish off. Faking the flick, giving maybe the little bit of a shoulder shake. Gurner, ridiculous! The crowd rightly jazzed up with that one. Gaffney calling Gurner's number again, why not? Into the end zone! The connection for Lena von Stebert. That'll be 5-8. I mean, that was a point played in the margins by Jogo Bonito, but my word, Gurner can make it look a beautiful game at times.
Oh, well, having been called back off the travel, Gerner asking so much of Von Stuft, but comes up with the clutch catch at the bottom. You can see the little double fist pump of celebration of Gerner after that redonkulous save.
And let's look at it again. I mean, it is scarcely believable from Gerner, although, having said that, it's Anna Gerner, so I don't know what I expected, to be honest.
We've said it once in our live stream, and I'll say it again. All aboard Anna Airways. The hang time she got, and then throws that lusty low release.
Just about skims over the stand. Into Von Stebbert, who lays out to secure the snag. 5-8. That's a connection that they'll be used to playing on Jinx in the women's division outdoors.
Indeed, a quieter game for Flora Scala, though, who was on fire for this German side in their previous match on this live stream.
The pull there will start Guayota at the back of their own end zone. First pass goes to Treviso. Treviso swinging to Dorta. 15 assists, no goals yet for Dorta.
He knows his role.
Marta Ortiz. That one, Herkens again trying his best. Bids does really well not to generate contact. Here's the deep shot. Somehow again, they've got a player behind the back. And this time it's Marta Ortiz catching her third goal of the game, 9-5.
It's like they're channeling the energy of the ninja. They're just putting on a little bit of dark clothing and just sneaking away all the way up to the end zone and then being like, yo, I'm here, throw me the frisbee. At the moment, perhaps again, just that lack of length of team roster really denying Jogo Bonito the ability to help each other out. There was no communication from the sideline letting them know that Ortiz had just off to the races there. But a lovely throw to connect with her. Didn't hang too much, just got directly to the show. As we see another look at that Paul Herkens bid, trying to do something, anything at all, to stop the Guayota offense.
At the moment, the Spaniards will not be denied. The Guayota pull, they're trying to get the edge to curl that back in bounds. It's going to work, you know, as well. Gaffney faking the first pass. Had he left it, maybe it would have taken the other edge and faded back out, but he didn't want to take that chance. Kay trying to put a little bit of touch in this one, feathers it over the arms of Carretero on the end zone line. Can they find the way in? They can indeed. Gavich threads the needle into Christian Gaffney for 6-9. Nicely done.
Well, I don't know if that's as delicate as threading a needle, more just lasering it straight directly. Do not pass go into the paw of Christian Gaffney. He definitely had to pull that down with some vim. But perhaps a bit of luck finally shining on Jogo Bonito. There was a good bid from, I think, Andrea Carretero.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is Carretero. All you need to do is look for the score. And she very nearly gets there. She gets so much elevation off the sand. But Gavich positions herself well. And then locates the option that she likes, sees it, and you mentioned rifles that throw into Gaffney.
So it's pacey, but it works. And it's just a hold for Jogo Bonito.
Yeah, no turnovers as yet in the second half of this game. Jogo Bonito need to start finding ways to generate some if they want the comeback here.
Well, they've definitely been putting their bodies all over the sand to try and achieve it.
But it is definitely nicely poised at the moment.
Indeed. But that can be part of defensive strategy. It's just constantly be on that shoulder, breathing down the neck of the offense, just trying to get in their heads. But at the moment, the confidence is all over the faces of Guayota.
A little bit of a contact there on the throw, but not a problem. Call retracted and we'll play on. Monterde swinging to Yaiza Ramos. There's a call on the far sideline, so this deep shot that does find Cristina Gonzalez in the end zone won't count.
Yep, she's not realised at all that that one's going to come all the way back home.
I think a lot of people on this sideline did not realise that either.
Well, there was lots of good use of arm signals. We were very aware of it.
Although we do have the best seat in the house.
Enviable, some might say.
The wind has died down, so we're not quite as cold as we were earlier in the day. On some of our little shipping container here.
Yeah, I did get quite chilly during the women's final, but then all the action suddenly heated up.
And all of a sudden it doesn't feel so bad.
Absolutely. Almost an out-of-body experience watching that game.
Monterde with the swing, finds Pablo Dorta. Underneath, Cristina Gonzalez to Ramos. Still count rising. Herkens falls over, but Monterde drops it.
Well, clearly, he didn't need to try and bid over his shoulder. All he needs to do was fall over.
And that'll get the job done. Feel like Monterde could have gone for the safer clap catch there. See that pink Euro disc picked up by Herkens. Herkens wants to bang the way through it to Grunwald in the end zone. That is a Jogo Bonito break. They're going to need a few more of those, but that is a strong start. 7-9.
Absolutely. Taylor Grunwald, the hero of Jogo Bonito. He got that clutch D, and there again when they need him in the end zone.
Not sure what the call was that stopped it on the far side of the field, but the disc went back.
My suspicion is, Benji, it was probably an offensive foul on the mark. So a foul called by the defender.
Here's the drop. You see, oh, it's a little bit behind, so he tries to claw it around and can't quite wrap his hands around. And this is a lovely shot. Herkens picking up the disc with only one thing in mind, roasting it deep. Taylor Grunwald only has a couple of assists this tournament, and now he's got a goal as well.
Well, Jogo Bonito are going to have to put together a lot more magic. There haven't been many errors that Guayota have shown in this game. That was a pivotal one. Can they surmount a comeback at this stage?
So the first turnover of this second half, and Jogo Bonito punish it ruthlessly, as they're going to need to. Gabaldoni underneath to Carretero. Carretero, plenty of separation there for Ortiz, dishing it off to Gabaldoni. Leading it down the sideline was a spectacular effort from Patricia Gonzalez that maybe deserved more. Here's Basov. Basov down the sideline. Greenwald. A little bit of confusion in the backfield maybe. High release down the line. Fenjagevich wants to rifle that one in past the bidding Gabaldoni. Vlad Basov with the score. 3 on the bounce now from Jogo Bonito. They're making a game of this at 8-9.
Well, I tell you what, the releases on Fenjagevich are making my entire body tense up. When she released that disc into the part of Vladislav Basov, yeah, my whole body just clenched. I was like, oh, that is exciting. It's a tiny, tiny channel, but that is what Guayota are forcing Jogo Bonito to have to do. But the second error, oh, it's starting to creep in, starting to get tighter, Benji. This could be a game now.
Vlad Basov, as obviously you might recognize, originally from Moscow but based in Berlin for a few years now, has come up short on a couple of occasions on the beach, was part of the Midnight Cobra side that lost out in Universe Point to Chut in the mixed division at last EBUCC, and also part of Germany mixed EBUCC 2019, where they also lost in the final. So 2 silver medals on the beach, one in Castelldefels and one here in Portimao. How he would love to go one better here.
Well, maybe he'll be able to tell us all about his experience on his Frisbee podcast and Telegram channel in Russian.
Duh. Alvaro Monterde. Swinging around the back to Dorta. Guayota needs to try and get their offense out of a little bit of a funk. And sadly for them, not in a George Clinton sort of sense. Diaz working it around the back, trying to be just a little bit calmer with things this time after turning over on a couple of deep looks. But there's the big one to the back of the end zone. Spectacular effort. But Monterde was unshaken. 8-10.
Yeah, even with the huge flying Russian form coming towards you. That is a beautiful catch under pressure for Monterde, who's been having a pretty good game. That's his 3rd goal for today. But that is a pause in the break train for Jogo Bonito. And a 2-point lead maintained by Guayota, of course, all earned in that first half with the opening break and then the 3 more. But Jogo Bonito in charge now of the momentum.
Yeah, Jogo Bonito, they do look a much steadier unit in this second half, but these games are so short, they come so fast that You only need to be slightly off the pace, and all of a sudden, that scoreline really racks up against you. Gaffney catching the ball, first pass goes to Greenwald. Govic underneath, that one, a little bit of pressure there on Gerner from Cristina Gonzalez. Did look like there was a bit of contact, and there is the foul called.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tricky pass, but it's just whether or not there was a bit of, well, maybe catching up of the bodies, because Gerner definitely had to bid forward quite hard for that pass. It was a little bit underthrown.
So obviously what we think is not the most important thing. It's about the players on the field coming to a resolution they are happy with. I certainly think that regardless of the outcome, Govic would have been better off holstering it.
So
accepted foul is the resolution.
Yeah, that's fair. It was an early bit of contact. Did impact Gerner's ability to catch the disc and those. That's going to be called good.
Tom Starr's having a little bit of a boogie to the music on the sideline. Here's Gerner taking the reset. That one, oh, it came out all weird and nearly rescued by Gaffney. But when they can scarcely afford turnovers, that is heartbreaking for Jogo Bonito. Just came out all wrong out of the hand, and somehow they nearly kept it alive. This one towards the open side. Guayota able to chase it down through Oscar Gonzalez. A goal to add to his earlier assist. 11-8 Guayota, 2 points away from victory.
Yeah, heartbreak hotel for Jogo Bonito. They were starting to find some form there. And after the foul call that was accepted, just getting pinned. Govic not really able to open up any opportunities.
Here's the offense after the turn for Guayota. Cristina Gonzalez just doing the right thing, just puts a little bit of backspin on that release so that even though it's a little bit past Gonzalez, the defender's boxed out at that point and Gonzalez can catch up to it at the back of the end zone. There's Mr. Bula himself, Patrick van der Valk, in a conversation with our very own Will Foster. See our production crew hard at work in the mercifully air-conditioned booth. That's us. Hello. 11-8 Guayota lead. They have, however, shown that they can get breaks on the bounce, and they're going to need some here. Gerner. Just a little dump off to Herkens. Herkens trying to get the inside-out flick. Can it be tracked towards the end zone? A little bit of muscling underneath it, but all smiles. The two number 10s do battle, and Phil Kay comes out on top, 9-11.
Well, that was a dirty, dirty disc. The way that curved across the pitch was just, I mean, unbelievable for Philip Kay. I mean, he did have a big height advantage to get the clutch grab in the end, but tracking that down, it's almost like, you know, you almost do mischief to the sinews in your neck.
I think the big thing there was that Kay just got a read on it so much earlier, and by the time Diaz saw it, he was already out of position, and Kay was making the catch. There's your main man, DJ Tom Styles. Be joining him for the open final coming up next. Small matter of the mixed final first.
Indeed, it ain't over quite yet. We've seen Jogo Bonito go off on that 3-point on the bounce run to get themselves a little glimpse into this game. But Guayota finding some form once more.
Ball fielded by Guayota. The Canarians. Looking downfield, Basov tries to flash into that lane to stop the huck, and Guayota wisely take the swing. Wide open on this near side, Patricia Gonzalez. Underneath to Carretero. Again, you can see the handler marks there, just sagging off, trying to stop any desperate deep look that they might throw. Layout hand block by Basov. No. Monterde says it was still in his hand, and accepted foul. The crowd didn't like it, but Basov didn't have any problem, and that was the important thing.
Well, I personally, regardless of the block or no block, I really enjoy this matchup between those two players.
Still count beginning to rise, with Basov committed onto the floor, just popped over the head there by Monterde. Basov's lost his visor.
Yeah, you can hear the sideline geeing him on.
That one's got to go down the line to Monterde. On the doorstep, flowing into Marta Ortiz, another goal to her name. 12-9 now. Guayota only need one to win. For Jogo Bonito, it's 4 on the bounce, and it's unlikely, but we have seen teams come back from this very scoreline on stream.
I'm going to do something controversial, Benji. I'm going to say I don't think that's going to happen.
At the moment, it seems unlikely, but I have seen unlikelier comebacks happen.
Oh, no, for sure, but I don't know if it's the fact that he lost his visor in the dust, but the way that you saw Vladislav Basov running around after Alvaro Monterde, it's just that difference, the difference between those extra 5 pieces in the kit set of Guayota. This is their surface, this is what they love to do, and Jogo Bonito, are a fantastic team with lots of talent, but they just don't have the depth. Because I think even if you get this hold and then pop a break in, you don't have enough timeouts to have the break that you need.
Another strong pull from Guayota. Again, Gonzalez hustles down to stop the first pass. Still count rising. Can they find an option? Just got to get rid of it, putting it out into space and finding it through to Kay. Kay faking that big backhand. Wants an underneath option, I'm sure. Well, maybe not, because instead he's shooting deep to Gaffney. Oh my God, the nonchalance on that catch from Gaffney. 10-12. Can Bonito find the 3 breaks they need?
Well, I'll tell you what, that indeed was tired initial start to the offense, but what a visionary throw eventually comes from the paws of Fenjugovic.
And then faking the big backhand, doesn't like that one. Well, I'll just throw the flick bomb instead.
Well, they were really taking away the unders. That super deep pull allowed Guayota's defense to really pin Jogo Bonito so effectively. But unfortunately, the commitment to taking away the unders, when they finally squeaked that one through, I think perhaps some individuals in the backfield thought, oh, I don't backfill Kay. I don't think he's going to get to that. I think we've done enough work and just generated this turnover by sheer force of will. But not to be. And Jogo Bonito showing their class.
Gaffney was so casual with that just calm trailing edge catch. I must admit, I was a little bit flustered by it. So that blading backhand pull fielded in the end zone by Guayota from the sand. Sergio Diaz. Little dish off there to Carretero. Carretero opens up the flick. Gerner tries to poach off and get the block, and she nearly does so. Here's the deep look. Could this be it? No! Hartley Greenwald is there to read it. Swings here to Herkens. Herkens has got no force. Eventually, one comes into place. Herkens looking for an option, but sticky coverage downfield. Sees a little bit of space for Gerner, gets it towards that break side. And Gerner takes the timeout.
A wise choice. I do believe Jogo Bonito are going to try and make me look silly for counting them out, and that was a beautiful defensive snag from Hartley Greenwald, just reading the play fantastically. But as the players take a brief moment of repose, I'm sure we will too, Benji.
Yeah, that sounds like an excellent plan. You see there Gerner poaching off to get the block. Didn't do so, but good recovery. Nice awareness downfield by Greenwald to earn the disc back for Jogo Bonito. And we'll see you on the other side of these short messages.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. Ultileague. Ultileague.net.
(10-12), the current scoreline. Jogo Bonito down to Guayota here in the mixed division final at the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships. Jogo Bonito taking the timeout with the disc, looking to break to come within 1 of Guayota. We've already had, spoiler alert, 1 Spanish heartbreak in the finals here. Jogo Bonito looking to make it 2 from 2. Benji Rees and Hannah Pendlebury. In the booth, not really much wind, but we do have cloud cover, which we have, I'll be honest, we didn't even see a cloud at all the first few days we were here.
I'm kind of grateful for it though, Benji. It means that it's a little bit cooler out here on the sand, and our pale British skin doesn't require our parasol to be shading us from the UV rays, which means we don't have to constantly hold on to it. Although, as you say, the wind's dropped to basically absolutely nothing in this cool 18 degrees Celsius day.
Just maybe the slightest whisper, suggestion of a wind. A little zephyr coming off the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, it can just appear randomly, so, you know, it could.
It's one of the challenges you have with beach. So off the timeout, Gerner instantly resetting to Greenwald. That'll get them in a little bit of motion and also reset the stall. Underneath, looking for Scala, a real heater. Carretero applied enough pressure.
Well, with only 5 female matching players for Jogo, maybe the women of Jogo Bonito looking a little bit tired.
Sticky dump coverage there by Greenwald. It's a little bit behind Carretero, but she sticks out that right arm and reels it in. Perkins going for the hero block, doesn't get there. There was the opportunity temporarily for the free look into the end zone. Carretero with a little dish in for Guayota. Carretero to Pablo Dotar, and Guayota are your 2022 EBUCC European Beach Ultimate Club champions.
Oh, and you can see immediately the body language on Jogo Bonito. They did not have enough gas left in the tank. Such a talented set of individuals, but they had such a force to contend with. Guayota so well drilled, competent on sand, and almost double the personnel of their opponents. It was a domination in that first half. Set themselves up. It got exciting a bit when Jogo had those 3 on the bounce, but credit to the Germans, they never got a look in.
Yeah, they just left themselves too much to do, and that can happen on beach where points come thick and fast. Is you're just a little bit off the boil for a 5-10 minute spell, and that can be crucial. There was that final turnover. Carretero putting enough pressure on Scala, making sure that she couldn't stick the catch. Herkens tries to poach off to get the block there on Patricio Gonzalez.
And he is definitely the #1 for effort during this gold medal match on defense, throwing himself all over this pitch.
And then Carretero outside the end zone, the coolest of dishes. And Guayota flood the field. The gold medal is going to Guayota, and it is going back to Tenerife. What a performance there from the Spaniards.
Yes,
applauding the full stands here at EBUCC. It is heartbreak for Jogo Bonito. They played so well all week, but as you mentioned, maybe just didn't quite have enough left at the very end.
Yeah, they'll be taking another gold to add to their 2 from the Beach Nationals for Spain that they took earlier in this season to see them qualify for this delightful championship.
So, mixed division done and dusted. Women's division finished earlier. That means we only have the open division left. That final starts at 3 o'clock local time, so in just under 25 minutes time. And more Spanish representation. Fendisk from Santander up against Salaspils of Latvia. That game is sure to be an absolute cracker because they met in the pool stages and Salaspils were 10-8 down and won 11-10. So you do not want to go anywhere. You get just enough time to stretch your legs, pour yourself a nice cold glass of whatever it is you need. Sign up to our Patreon if you haven't already. I'm pretty sure you can get that done in 25 minutes. Patreon.com/UltiTV. As little as the price of a pint of beer a month, you can help us grow Ultimate by bringing free live coverage of events like this to the masses. Thank you very much for watching our coverage of the mixed division here at the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships. Your final score in the mixed division is Jogo Bonito 10, Guayota 13. Guayota are your mixed division gold medalists, and we'll see you on the other side for the open final.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. Ultimate TV.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. Ultileague. Ultileague.net.
EBUCC lyrical.
Merci beaucoup.
Alti.tv